Have you found David? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Is this the right thing to do when you're in rehab?
Yes, Alan. 100 times yes.
Well, I have a trail, but it's not very worn. That's why I asked to meet again. Maybe you can make some sense of this.
Tell me.
Well, I'm 99% sure David still has his basement apartment from college, except I don't think he's there much. And he's using an alias. And getting outrageous tattoos. Here, have a look.
Oh, my.
It's him, right?
Gosh, yes. What do you mean, an alias?
He calls himself William Covell now.
Oh, that's bad.
Are you okay, Clare?
Not hearing that name. The father of my first son, he wrote about using the name William if we kept the child.
Wait, so this means David does know about your first son?
Oh, maybe more. I told you how my first son's father sent me a letter when David was in grade 12, when I suspect David read.
Right.
Well, I hid that letter with other letters the father wrote years earlier when I became pregnant. They're together in a box in the bottom drawer of my dresser. It's in those old letters that the father suggested the name William for my first son. William Covell.
Really?
Oh, I thought it was ludicrous. I wasn't going to be with the father and couldn't keep the baby. I thought those letters were safe. But David must have read them all. He knows everything.
But why would David use the same name? I don't understand.
This is so troubling. David could feel betrayed. I wonder if the father has any insight.
The father?
He might, given he's calling and I don't know what else to do. I remember he was going to an old age home downtown here somewhere for ministers. Reverend Mark Covell.
I'm sorry to hear Clare has so many troubles. I don't have much talk in me, though, Mr. Boltby. Smoked too much when I was young.
She is having a tough go, which is why she wants to reconnect with David so badly.
Well, this puts me in a quandary.
What quandary, if I may ask?
William, that is David, started visiting me 3 years ago.
He did? But why?
That's the quandary. I have confidences with Clare and with David. Properly, I should honor both.
Even lawyers give up confidences sometimes.
Your father and I knew each other when I was in Springwoods years ago, so I'm going to trust you to judge what is right here. I am a tired old man with months, not years left, and I'm tired of quandaries.
All right.
David knocked on my door one day, out of the blue, using the name William Covell. He claimed he was visiting because we shared a last name. I immediately connected the name to Clare, of course.
You thought maybe he was your son.
Briefly, and I was shocked. The relationship I had with Clare decades ago was caring, if brief, but it was wrong, very wrong. But then I remembered my son would be in his 40s. My visitor clearly was younger.
You didn't think the visit was odd?
Oh, yes, I did. But at my age, you're happy if the postman greets you, and I didn't feel threatened. More will be revealed, I thought. He named my oxygen tank Iron Maiden.
Did he introduce you to the band, too?
The band?
Never mind. How often did he visit?
It must have been 15 or 20 times. We usually sat in the card room. Virtually no one looks to me for guidance anymore, but eventually it seemed to me he was. Mind you, he hasn't visited all summer.
And he told you his real name?
Just this year, about the time he began that horrid tattoo on his face. The tattoos on his arms and legs I understood, but not the one on his face. But I wasn't surprised by his real name.
Because you somehow knew he was Clare's son.
Introducing himself to me as William Covell, he'd invited me to link himself to her, hadn't he? With a few discreet calls, I learned Clare only had one other child, and David's father had died shortly before David began visiting me.
So, let me ask again. Do you know if David estranged himself because of William, or where David is?
David has some anger toward his parents, and when he told me his real name, he did say he knew the story of William Covell. But is that the source of his anger? I'm not sure. His anger is widespread, and more like bravado, really. I must say, Mr. Boltby, my energy is gone, and Iron Maiden needs a refill.
Just one more question, Reverend. Earlier, you asked me to be the judge in this. But what exactly am I judging?
Under his bravado, under that obscene tattoo, David is, I think, simply very lonely. He's never mentioned friends. He must miss Clare and his past father. Maybe I'm a modest replacement, I don't know. But what I am sure of is that David has his own story about his family. He's sensitive. His feelings are at risk here. Judge what's best for him as well as for Clare. And with that clarified, I suggest you ask around Spring Woods for David. I have no idea if he'll agree to see Clare. It's his choice, and you need to honor that.